Hi, this is Angela Salyer hosting Talking with Heroes at talkingwithheroes.com. And your normal host, Bob Calvert, is behind the camera today. We are at USAA headquarters in San Antonio, Texas. I'd like to thank USAA for some wonderful interviews today. We've had a wonderful time and met some wonderful veterans, some great patriots. So here with me today is Bob Deschner with Vet Trip. Hi, Bob. Thank you so much for being with us.
Well, thank you. It's a great opportunity to talk and share with everybody.
And Bob and I have actually connected a couple of years ago, but this is the first time we've had a chance to meet face to face. And I wanted you to tell me a little bit about how you got started with Vet Trip.
Well, we got started because we were finding that veterans needed help with post-traumatic stress as much as they did with pain. We were working a lot with pain relief programs. And so we started in Austin with 3 or 4 sessions there. We had groups from Fort Hood come down and help coach us through how they do the immersion process. And then we went to see Fort Ballista's program for PTSD. And we did 4 sessions there in Austin, and then we came back to San Antonio where we live, and we broke it down into the component parts. So what we have now is what we call the integrative immersion process, which is a 2-hour session where they come in and they get massage, energy work, chiropractic, and acupuncture. Then we have a stage 2 program where it's kind of the exit program. We help them, teach them how to do the things that we're doing for them and help them recover so they can do it on a daily basis. And they can share it with their spouses and their families. And then we have the training classes, the yoga, tai chi, and qigong classes that we're just launching this year.
That's great. And I'd like for you to tell us a little bit about the impact that you've seen with these veterans that you've been working with.
Wow. We continue to be honored and humbled just to be able to work with veterans and their families and active duty and the families. In fact, we call them all veterans. We feel that the family members are veterans as well. It's every time. You're just inspired. You see the kind of results and the relief that goes on. And the simplest thing is when they come in, you can see in their face, they're strained, they're harsh, they may even be angry. And when they get off the table, they look like little kids. They got these great smiles, they're relaxed, they're hugging everybody. One guy says, I got to get out of here before I start hugging everybody in the room.
And you've got some great stories like that on your website, I believe, that I've seen before. If people are interested in seeing more, they can go to...
It's vettrip.org. That's 2 T's and 2 I's, vettrip.org. There's some links to some veterans interviews. And I'll tell you, we never hear the stories. We don't get to hear the stories of the veterans because we don't dig into what's causing the problem because that triggers them. We just make them feel good. And so this was the first time we heard these 11 veterans tell their stories. And we were overwhelmed. It was just very emotional to see those stories, have them tell what they've been through to get where they were and the relief and what it did for them.
Sure, that's very touching. So Vet Trip is actually a member of the R4 Alliance, and at the R4 Alliance, they really promote collaboration. And so I know I work for the Comfort Crew for Military Kids, and we've talked some about how we can help each other and get together to better support our military families and our veteran families. And so, what are some thoughts on just being able to collaborate with some of those other members?
We think that everybody gets better with more relaxation, more comfort, and better sleep. You don't need a medical study to know that those 3 things will help. And so it'll help the whole family. So whether they're working for jobs, or they're working for education, or they're trying to keep their family together, or they're just trying to get on with their life, we know that those things will help support them. And what's really fascinating is as we've worked with staff at the VA, the staff of the VA realize that we're helping them keep retention for the veterans to come into the programs and get more help. So we don't do counseling, we don't do medications, we don't do assessments. We just make them feel good. We call it 2 hours of bliss on a table, and they come off feeling like melted Jell-O.
There you go. One question I had, you mentioned earlier you kind of started in Austin and obviously are down here in San Antonio. So what areas do you cover?
We launched here in San Antonio in the second round because we live here in San Antonio. But the goal from the very beginning was to have a model program we could duplicate. We didn't want it to be tied to Dottie and Bob. We didn't want to have a little enclave here that we could do really good stuff, which we are and we're proud of, but we wanted to make that program so it could be duplicated. So we've duplicated the program at 4 locations in San Antonio and New Braunfels, and then we met a lady in Houston that came over, paid for her staff to come over and get training, and she said, I'm going to launch this in Houston whether you do it with us or not. I said, okay, let's go do it. And for 6 sessions in Houston that Dottie and I drove over and spent the night and helped them get going, they're now doing the program by themselves in Houston. So it's duplicated, and that's what's going to help make this happen.
Sure. And reach more people.
The community resources are critical because the VA can't possibly deal with all the veterans they have, and the employers don't know what to do many times. But if we could bring the training in and show them how to help themselves and their families, and then duplicate that, we're drawing upon this vast resource of volunteers. The first 3 years we were 100% volunteer.
Right.
And now over half of our service providers are veteran family members or veterans, and they're volunteers.
Well, and what I'd like to know is, as a nonprofit, we have certain things we need to make our programs run. What do you need to make your program go?
We need 4 things. We need veterans, and we're never going to run out of veterans that need us. We need locations, and we've been very blessed that we've had churches that open their doors on Fridays or Mondays when they're not busy, and we just come in and set up a virtual clinic, and they're in and out in 10 hours. And we actually have some churches that right now want us to come in. We don't have the funding to do it. We need staff members. So initially they're volunteers, but as they grow in experience, as we get more funding, we're able to pay some of those. And we need money. Last year we delivered over $535,000 worth of services with a $109,000 cash budget. So we leveraged our money 5 to 1. And that's unheard of. But every dollar we get, we're able to leverage with all of our volunteers and make that big of an impact.
So is there anything else that, especially for our veterans and our military out there that might want to, might need your services? How do they get more information? And how do they, I know you have a wait list because it's in high demand, but how can they get in contact with you and explore coming in doing this program?
Getting into the program is fairly straightforward. They go to our website, vettrip.org, 2 T's, 2 I's, and contact us. And that goes to Jules Harmon, who schedules everybody. The other way through is to go to the VA. They're doing the heavy lifting at the VA. We love the staff at the VA because they'll find the ones that are most appropriate and say, here's something in the community you might want to check out. But we have a great referral rate. About 85% of our veterans come as referrals, community resource referrals from the VA staff. And so if they come through the VA staff or the vet centers or BAMC or SAMC, we know they're getting counseling, medications, everything they possibly need in conventional medicine. Then they come to us and we help enhance that experience and help them stay in the programs at the VA. And we think that's a real benefit. At least that's what the veterans say.
Great. Thank you so much. Is there anything else that you want people to know with regards to Vet Trip?
Wow, there's so much. We are honored and humbled to work with fantastic people serving veterans and their families. And to Dottie and I, it's the best thing we've ever done in our life.
Thank you very much. Thanks so much for what you guys are doing for our military and veteran families. Again, this is Angela Salyer with Talking with Heroes. You can learn more at talkingwithheroes.com. And if you are familiar with Talking with Heroes, you know that we always end with an opportunity to give a shout out to our troops. There are a lot of folks that are deployed and they're separated from their families right now. Bob, would you be interested in doing a shout out for us?
Sure. Thank you for your service. Thank you. Come home safe, and we welcome you with open arms.
I can't say it better. Thank you so much for your service, you and your families. We recognize that everyone serves. Again, Angela Salyer with Talking with Heroes.